Joy. Whew, it is Monday. Mondays, sometimes are good and sometimes Mondays give you a good old kicking ass. But welcome back to Sip with Joy. If this is your first time, this is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And speaking of wine, look, guys. It's a blue wine. Wait, I'm like, where, where is it on the screen? It's a blue wine, and this is a real blue wine. This is a natural blue wine. It's a Nebbiolo. I can't wait to tell you all about this. So make sure you're following at Sip with Joy, so you can get the sip of the day. So I can tell you more about this blue wine, but it's so good, and it is by a black vintner, Coviello Salinas. So tune in to Sip with Joy. I mean, to the Sip with Joy Instagram, so I can tell you guys more about this on the sip of the day. It's so good. Okay, so hey Jesselie, hey Tiffany, hey Jules. All right. So today's episode is titled He Said, She Said. And I'm going to be joined by special guest Ron Mack. He's going to offer a male perspective on last week's topic, as well as some other burning questions about dating. Because, we went all the way in about, the signs when you know someone's not into you. So we're going to unpack this with the actual man today. And we are not relationship experts, y'all, but we're just having, you know, good healthy banter about these things. So let's go ahead and bring Ron on, Ron Mack. Hey Reg. Hey Ron.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. And just a little backstory. Well, I'll give the backstory in a second.
All right.
But before we get started, what you sipping on?
Uh, I'm getting ready for the cook-off.
Okay.
I'll be out there Thursday.
Okay.
So today I'm drinking Topo Chico because if I need to hydrate straight out of Monterrey, Mexico. So I'm
See,
trying to get
y'all
one of
don't be
those.
ready to come up. Y'all don't be ready to come out sip with joy. Everybody, oh, I'm fasting. I'm this, I'm that. Y'all don't be ready to come out sip with joy. Topo Chico, come
Well,
on.
join me Thursday, Joy, and I'll show you what I'll be sipping on.
All right, invitation. All right, invitation received. Okay, so Ron, tell us a little bit about yourself, and where did the single dad enthusiast come from? Because I asked you for a title, and you were like, you know, you told Jamie, "Oh, single dad enthusiast." I was like, okay, well, let's unpack that.
All right, so I'm a father to three great kids. I have a 21-year-old, a 17-year-old, and an 11-year-old. I was married for quite a while with my college sweetheart,
Okay.
and we wound up getting a divorce. And when we went through the transition, our situation is a little bit different than most people. We do 7 days on, 7 days off. So
Mhm.
our kids they switch homes every other Monday.
Okay.
So what I found though is when I initially got divorced, I anytime people go through divorce, the first thing everyone does in any relationship is they go support the woman. They always go and they just like boom. Everybody she
Mhm.
needs support right now. She needs that love. She needs to talk to somebody. But
Mhm.
nobody ever goes to check on the guy to see how
Mm.
he's doing, how he's coping, what he has going on. And man, I went through a very lonely, very dark period
Mm.
for quite a while trying to overcome some of those obstacles. As a result, I have started to, some of my other friends were going through some of the same things that I was going through. And I found myself, because I was going through it first, being an advocate for them to say, hey, man,
Right.
it's going to be okay. Let's talk about ways that we can get through this. This is what I advise you to do. Don't give up on being with your kids. Don't, allow people's anger initially to get you out of place. And a lot of times that's what happens. You have people that may slow down things or make things difficult in the beginning, but sometimes people are just hurt. And so you gotta just continue the course. Don't badmouth people. Don't put people in bad positions or make them feel like they're less than,
Mm.
and move on from there. So I really pride myself in being that person. and just being a resource for men that may be going through that same things
Yeah.
I'm going through.
I love that. I really do. And I'm glad you said that. Like, people don't check on the men because, it is very one sided a lot of the time. So I'm glad that you kind of have a support um,
Yeah.
group mechanism in place, to offer support to those men who are going through divorce. Because yeah, that is not an easy thing to go through. You
No,
know.
on
Um,
any, especially when my kids are popular, they're fun. So my house was the fun house,
right.
so I'm used to 500 people being at my house at any given time
Oh
to move
God.
into a two-bedroom apartment,
Right.
and being by myself and listening to people upstairs stomping. I'm like, what the heck? It was just different. It's a
Yeah.
transition. So,
Yeah. So, backstory. Well, the reason why I invited you today on this
okay,
podcast, well, one, you had DM'd me and said you saw me at the Texans game, and then I
I did.
did some research, and I was like, okay, what's he got going on? And so I was like, oh, he's had podcasts that have, talked about dating over 40 and what have you, and I'm like, okay, and I was, you know, I'm always thinking ahead about guests and whatnot, and so I'm like, okay, who can join me to talk about this topic? Because I was supposed to have a male guest last week, but then that didn't happen. So I was like, I think we need to still continue this conversation. And other people had contacted me and said the same thing. So I was like, okay, who can I ask? And so that's when I reached out to you. I was like, yeah, you want to talk about this topic with me?
Yeah.
So
So,
I appreciate you coming on because you cover this a lot. You cover dating over 40. You cover a lot of dating topics on your podcast. So I want to, explore that more. Okay.
absolutely. Can
So
I add to that? Can I add to your background?
y- maybe. what?
I just want to be clear.
What?
I was single in December, and I was trying to get my little flirt on, and she just like, okay, baby, and just kind of played me to the left. And I was like, all right, bet. I wasn't popping enough then. So.
I, you know, sorry, Ron. Sorry to this man.
Man, it's hard out here,
Why you
boy.
have to put me out there like that, Ron?
Hurt people, man. Don't
Wait a
do me
minute,
like
but was
that.
I
Hurt.
hurt though? Was I hurt though? That is funny. Don't believe what Ron is saying, y'all. I was nice, okay? It was a nice, like, hi, okay, bye. I don't even remember it because I was drinking. To be honest.
Oh my
Robin
gosh.
was there. So you saw last week's episode. He's just not into you. What are your thoughts on some of the signs I shared?
Red flags.
Yes,
Um,
red flags. Okay, we can call
yeah,
them
I
red
think I
flags.
think the one that caught my attention the most is the communication piece.
Hmm.
That whole idea of the "Hey beautiful" text that kind of dwindle and go away, or that you know, what are you doing, or I'm thinking about you. All those different communication tools that people use initially that kind of dwindle as people get to know each other.
Hmm.
Um, it's interesting because I've learned that from being in a marriage for so long and getting back out here in the dating realm, I learned how important it is for you to remain consistent in what you want from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's even more equally important that you provide a safe place for them. And if I'm being totally transparent, I have learned the hard way that if you don't do those things, you get a very fragmented version of the person that you truly want to date.
Mm.
Um, so for me, it has been very beneficial for me to remain consistent, to do the things that my partner appreciates, and to
Mm.
listen. A lot of times we just get so inundated in our days and small things that we enjoy doing that we forget to listen to what our partner is trying to tell us. So,
Mm. That is
yeah,
so good. Okay, so can you talk more about that consistency piece?
yeah. So consistency comes in all shapes and forms, right? So um, and being transparent with people is also the key. I think a lot of times when we start dating someone, let's just be clear, dating is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
and we want to get to know someone. We want to hang out with them. We want to, experience different experiences with them. But sometimes you have to be open and transparent about what it is your expectations are. So,
Right.
like, I know that I can't. I make a very good living. I have a great job, but I know that I can't afford to take you to maestros every 3 days a week. You know what I mean? I
Right.
know I can't afford to do that
Mm-hmm.
specifically because I have these wonderful three children.
Mm-hmm.
but I do know that I can enjoy going out to eat once a week, and we experience life together in other ways that make sense.
Right.
But one of the things that you mentioned in your or that we kind of talked about
Mm-hmm.
is the the expectation a lot of times of what women have for men during the courting season.
Right.
And that is really difficult. I mean, when I tell you I struggled with that whole Cheesecake Factory debacle,
Oh gosh. That was really bad. That was a really bad example, and I really don't feel like all women should be crucified because of that one woman's list. Because did I'm not gonna dog her out, but just come on, just please.
well, did you see how many people co-signed that
I
foolishness?
did,
You know what I
and
mean?
it's really it. See, okay, let's talk about this because there's also what you said about men spending money on dates and all of this, right? And these women feeling entitled to men's money or perceivedly being entitled to men's money. And like the video you sent me talking about, you want me to pay your bills before we even met, or by the first date I'm paying your rent, your car note,
Yeah.
all of that. And it's
Welcome to
really
Atlanta.
right. It's making women sound like prostitutes, basically. And I'm like, what is happening? Where has this shift come? Because I've even posted reels about like, you know, uh, to a certain extent, get to know me. I'm not a petting zoo, and men were literally commenting, "Well, we're not ATMs." First of all, most of the men that were even commenting don't even have the means.
They
Okay,
don't have
so
a debit card to go to
right,
the
you
ATM.
ain't even got a bank account. Like you don't even have the means, and you sitting up here talking about you an ATM. And have you seen yourself? Like, come on. First of all, no. But there's this thing about money. And so now you do have these hangups about men wanting to take women on dates, and like the guy said in that video you sent me, well, I'm basically paying for me to find out if you like me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That is that's hard for me to understand. I mean, for me, I want to be with someone and I want to hang out with somebody that really appreciates my time and company. I don't
mhm.
necessarily need to take you to the finest restaurant in order to see if that is appropriate. I mean, to see if that is the case or not. So for me, I it's funny, man. I've had all kind of crazy conversations with people about this, and to hear what some people say, if I say, hey, I would love to take you to a coffee shop, or I'd love to take
Mhm.
you to lunch, or all these different things that are less that are more disarming for a guy, at times will make people feel offended when
Mm.
they're in a dating situation. So for me, if I'm just getting to know you, I don't know that I want to take you to $300 meal.
And I don't
What
understand why that should be a problem.
it
I,
happens. It happens. You
but
you
okay, let me ask you this, because some men, and I had this conversation with a male friend of mine, because he was like, women think I'm going to be a sponsor, or they're looking for opportunities, and I'm like, yeah, because probably you lead with the things that you have. So if you're leading with your money and you're being flashy and you're leading with the things you have, then you're going to attract those type of women.
I
So
agree.
what do you like? How are you gonna be mad that somebody looking at you as a sponsor when you're like, well, yeah, I have a multi-million-dollar company, and well, what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah. So that being said, I'm gonna switch gears on you just for a little bit.
Hmm.
I did a small cameo on Hinge, um, and I was very methodical in what and how I presented myself on Hinge to really try to capture the attention of the type of woman I wanted to meet.
Hmm.
Um, I had a very successful career on Hinge. If that makes sense.
Not a career, Ron.
It was crazy. I was shocked, and I'm gonna tell you this. This is the worst analogy in the world, but I'm gonna tell you this. The reason that I really enjoyed Hinge, and I did it for probably about 3 months.
Hmm.
Okay, and I went on Hinge. I started it. The cool thing about it was you would meet somebody. It was like going to a restaurant, right?
Hmm.
Sitting down to eat with someone, and you realize that the entire meal they eat with their mouth open, and you know
Mm.
that's non-negotiable for you. So
Yeah.
today I just kind of delete you, and now you're leaving the table. But as
Right.
soon as I delete you, there's another person right behind you that's ready to have this wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
The bad part about Hinge, though, is that just as careful as I was with presenting myself in a way to capture the person that I wanted, people are
Hmm.
equally as duping to try to get you to commit to
Right.
whatever their agenda is at the
Hmm.
time, just so they can get whatever they want. You know,
Oh
like, oh, I want
yeah.
money. Da,
Oh, I made a cameo on Hinge too, and Bumble, and it was real trifling, you know.
da, da. It was
And what I don't understand is you're having a conversation. It's like people's attention span is like that, and so it's like we're having a conversation, and then all of a sudden there's nothing, and I'm
yeah.
like, so are you trying to get to know me or no? Like, what are
Right.
we doing here? But because of that attention span, like just exactly what you said, there's someone else in the queue that they can have a conversation with. So it's
Right.
like, well, somebody else got my attention. There's another carrot dangling in my face, so I'm gonna go get that one because you're not doing enough, or and so it's just. Dating apps are interesting. I think it can be a good thing because for people like me, I'm an introvert. I'm not out in these streets like that, and so
Mhm.
it gives me an opportunity to meet people. And then also when I am out, I'm not necessarily going to places where I may meet the type of person I'm looking for. Like I'm at a restaurant with my girls, and it might be a bunch of old white people around us, so I'm not gonna find my guy,
I
in
got
in those type of settings. So I usually try to seek peace and quiet when I go out, and I'm not really seeking a partner.
you.
So
Mhm.
the dating apps, I think, can become overwhelming because it's just too much. Like I had to get off. Like I got off, and I'm just like I'm not doing this anymore. This is too much. These people are trifling.
So,
And I
so is
think
your dating toxic trait not going to where men are?
that might be. That might be. Listen, God and I have had a conversation, and I'm like, just go ahead and drop them off at my door, guys, so I don't have to do all this. Now is that going to happen? Probably not. I'm a work in progress, Ron. So don't judge
Mhm.
me, okay?
There's
Don't
no
judge me.
judgment over here. Trust me,
But
I got
I have had. I mean, I'm not saying I have not met good people on dating apps, but it just depends on what that person really wants. People go on these dating apps and they say, I want a long term relationship, I want monogamy, but do you? Or they're seeking marriage. Are you? Because your actions may be saying something else, so that always confused me too. I'm like, your actions are not saying that you actually want something long term. Your behavior is acting like someone that's trying to have someone different every night of the week,
you.
so yeah, but interesting, interesting perspective. Okay, hey Lizzle, hey Elsie, hey Walking Into Her. Okay, so let's see what people are
Walking into
saying.
her, I want her to explain that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Jules was saying that cheesecake debacle was so embarrassing for me, nor my homegirls co-signed that exactly. I did not. I mean, I want to go to a coffee shop because somewhere quiet. It doesn't always have to be, an expensive meal because I may not want to get dressed up.
True.
Um, Elsie said, but at the same time, can we go somewhere between Morton's and Burger King? Or how about no dinner date? Let's find something else to do. I think people lack creativity too,
Oh, for sure.
and so it doesn't always have to be a steakhouse.
Right.
So we can go get ice cream. We can go do boozy snow cones. Like it could be be creative, a museum, something.
Have fun.
Um, hey Adele, Reg said the cheesecake is better than the food actually. than the food actually try that pineapple. Try that pineapple upside down cheesecake.
Okay.
Okay,
Noted.
Reg. All right.
Wrong for
So, okay, moving on. What do you think? What do you think the biggest problem is with dating today? And it may not just be one. You can name
Yeah.
multiple, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think social media has definitely played its the probably in recent years its largest part. Um, you know, I go on social media sometimes, and I follow my kids. I try to monitor what they got going on. I'm looking for myself. I'm following people, and um, with these algorithms and
Hmm.
it paying attention to what you do in your private time and utilizing that time to put images in front of you that sway your attention from what the real goal and purpose is damaging.
Mm.
Um, if like we just mentioned right now, if I say Hinge, I'm guaranteeing you that at some point today, dating apps are going to pull up on my phone.
Oh yeah.
Um, just like everything else, and so you know when you find these all these things going on, and you're really working to try to um, find your space and your
Yeah.
peace and your value, and all you're doing is being bombarded with titties, ass, pretty face.
Right.
And then, for guys, you got to look like this. You got to get your body right. You got to do this. You got to,
Mhm.
drive this car. You got to have this house.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like I am of no value unless I have these
Mm.
things.
Mm.
So for me, in order for me to feel value, I got to be with the baddest chick on Instagram. She got to have a bunch of followers. And my boys got to sign off on her. My uncle got to be like, okay, nephew. Like all these
Right.
different things that are
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
and you put these unrealistic expectations on a person who's
Right.
just human, just like you. You want them to respect who you are. You want them
Right.
to own and be okay with your flaws. But man,
Mhm.
as soon as that person steps outside of that little box of what you put them in, you now like, let me stop saying good morning, and now it's like, hey,
Right.
what's up? Where you
Exactly.
at?
Right. You don't get none of that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm glad you brought up social media. So can we talk about social media etiquette when you're dating someone, and
Yep.
especially, I mean, we can talk about if you're dating someone, relationship and marriage. Like, I see people that I know who are married, and like a random post, let's just say it's Lori Harvey, Kelly, whoever, they will like a provocative post of someone. It ain't someone just smiling like it's a Monday. No, it's a sexy post. So what do you think about that? Like men liking, or it could be they like an insta models photos,
Yeah.
like liking other women's photos. Where do you draw
All
the
right.
line?
All right. This is my personal feeling.
Okay.
I remember I was hanging out with somebody last year, and Nia Long posted a video of her licking the chocolate from a chocolate fountain,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh my god." I do not know her. I don't know anybody connected to her. I will never see her. So for me liking or commenting on that is like me having a Janet Jackson poster on my wall.
Uh,
In my opinion, I
mhm.
would I would never see this person. Now, if local Joy, who I know lives in Houston, posts a picture and she's licking, I'm like, oh my god, you know, I think that's a little bit different.
Mhm.
Like I just think that there are certain people that you're never gonna meet these individuals. So for me, I like I don't know. I struggle
That's
with it.
that's an interesting perspective, but is it not like, I don't know, you're lusting. I mean, granted, you have eyes, right? You have
Yeah.
eyes, but is it equivalent to if you're out in public, you don't know this woman, and you're gawking at a woman? That's disrespectful. So is it similar?
All right. So I look. I got four sisters. All right.
Hmm.
Of my four sisters, one and a half of them are lesbians. I say half because my sister just turned gay like a couple months ago, so I call her a lesbian and a half. So
Not a
with
half.
a half, she's not
Not.
fully yet. She
Ron, I'm
almost
not
there.
doing this with you.
She in the initiation phase. I love you, family. Don't worry. Anyway, so when I look at somebody who is um, women, y'all will be like, "Oh my God, girl, Michael B. Jordan, girl, ah," and everybody's like, "Oh, socially acceptable."
Hmm.
But if I do those type of things, then it's like it's not measuring apples to apples. I mean, it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
something that essentially, I don't think I ever have a chance with me alone. Like,
Hmm.
just like 90% of the people don't have a chance with Michael B. Jordan.
I
So
mean, you might.
but it's just one of those things that you just have to consider, and you got
That's
to
a
know
good
your person too,
perspective, though.
right? Like,
Yeah.
is your man a good guy? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
is he purposely just trying out here just liking every video vixen? No, he probably
Yeah.
saw something that he enjoyed. He may have talked to you about it. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
right now. I don't care how old she get, but Janet Jackson is my boo. Everybody that know me know this. So if
Yeah.
I see Janet Jackson or she posts something, I'm gonna say something because that's my boo. I love her. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. It's not malicious
That's
intent,
honest.
and it's about really having communication and really just being transparent with your partner. I think people so many times we just try to be this um, what people think we should be,
Yeah.
and not really just being ourselves. So when a glimpse of who we really are comes out, they're like, "Whoa, who the hell is this?" Well, this is
Mm.
who I've always been. They're like, "No, you never showed me this side of you." It's like, "Oh, okay." Well, you
Well, I
did.
think that's when the problems occur, right? Then when you
Yes.
don't really see that side of that person, that's when you're like, who are you? But I like the perspective. Like you said, these are people that you would never know, but never meet, but you could. But
Yeah.
but also like if it's local, if it especially if it's somebody I know, like seriously, dude, why are you all on this woman's page?
Yeah. Now that
You
that
know,
I is a
like
bit much.
we have a real problem here.
Right.
So and then it's the that's my friend. What kind of friend? Did y'all mess with each other in the past? And see, I don't like to go all into that because sometimes I just don't want to know.
Sure.
But it's just like, what kind of friend is this? Because you doing too much, you know? So I've been in situations like that before where I'm like, okay, now this has gone too far. And I've actually had to say something because I'm like, you don't think these people know that we're dating and you all up on this woman's page, you know, like come on,
Mhm.
stop it. So but I like that
Let's talk
perspective.
about that for a second.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious to know where you are on this.
Mhm.
I I am very lucky. I have a very cool group of friends.
Mhm.
My guy friends are extremely handsome, good-looking guys, and I have extremely good-looking, beautiful female friends.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes people that I have dated in the past have been intimidated by some of the women that I'm friends with because they are so attractive.
Mhm.
How do you navigate that?
So that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is are people in your friend circle people that you've messed with in the past.
Okay,
That
that's
is
fair.
when things can get a little tricky because it's like, you know, there's history there, you
Right,
know, so that gets a little complicated. Even though you may say there are no feelings there, you still have history with that person.
right.
And you know, i've I've been in situations in the past too where there's almost a competing uh not a competing interest, but where you gotta one up me, you know more about, you know, oh well, you know, Ron, he used to do this back then. And I'm like,
Okay,
well, I don't know about that. You know,
yeah,
I'm still trying to get to know you, and this person is telling me everything about you. And sometimes it seems like there's a competitive nature, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, okay, so y'all not really friends, y'all messed around. Okay, got
Hmm.
it. Now,
Or
if
that
it's
person
if
is just petty.
yeah,
I
it's
see those
there's
type
a
of things
little
too.
underlying pettiness there. Now, if it's
Yeah,
really friends, that doesn't bother me. I mean, because I have male friends, and I tell people I'm dating, listen, these people are not going anywhere, you know. But I get it when you're talking about if someone's attracted. That doesn't bother me. I'm cute, you know, so
go on,
I
girl.
don't.
Go on, girl. You better tell them.
That'll bother me. I'm not bothered by those things. But if there's a history there, then that's where it gets a little murky.
Word.
Um, let's see. Okay, Jay Bree said women were thirsting over Usher during this Super Bowl performance.
Come on now, come through.
No comment. Okay, and then Elsie said, I also think there may be a difference if your man is not giving you the same love and attention that they would
Come
give
on,
Nia Long or Janet.
come on. Hey,
That.
if my old lady is licking the chocolate from the stream, hell, she gonna get that attention.
I'm not. Okay, listen, we need more time tonight to go through all this stuff. But yeah, there's a I just feel like there's a line, that needs to be drawn between the fantasies and the reality. I had a guest on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about pornography and things like that. Like, it, you are not you're so focused on the fantasy that you're not focused on the experience that you have with your actual partner, and sometimes things just get they get lost in the bedroom, and you can't even enjoy each other because you're thinking about what somebody did on the screen. So anyway, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But um okay, so but we are going to talk about sex. So when do you think
Here, Mouse. I'm just
uh,
kidding. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
when do you think is appropriate? Like, I feel like some people try to put timelines on it. Like, people are like, well, I had sex on the first night and first day. And then some people are like, well, I'm waiting 3 months, or I'm waiting after. Like, when is it appropriate? And in dating, if you're not
Mm.
even in a relationship, do you feel like sex changes the dynamic? Because I feel like the older women get, sex is not seen as emotional as it was in previous years, because the libido is high, and so it's like, listen, I want to get my rocks off just as much as you do. So I
Okay.
think we can detach from it in our older age, maybe not as much as we used to. So anyway,
Okay.
we'll come back to that. But the
Yeah,
dynamic
we're
piece,
gonna
do
put a
you
pin in that
think?
one.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in it. But do you think that it changes the dynamic, and when do you feel like when it's appropriate?
um, let's see here. When is sex appropriate? I think everybody grown, and for every
Exactly.
situation, it could be what it is. There are going to be people that you're going to have complete chemistry with right off the bat. Y'all may take things to a place that's beautiful. Um, Other people, it may take a little bit more time to make that
Mhm.
type of connection with them.
Yeah.
But it still, whatever that time looks like, it can still be a beautiful thing. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't demean it because y'all did it off the rip. I wouldn't say that you're less than because you guys are waiting. I think it's
Mhm.
about the vibe and communication, and if it makes sense, makes sense. Go get what's yours, but just don't put unrealistic, um, you know, standards that are not anyone's true belief but your own. I mean, I
Right.
found that I used to be really heavily involved in church, and during that time, it was really tough because it was um, they put this daily beating on you of you gotta do these things, you gotta do these things in order to be the best
Mhm.
Christian you could be. You gotta, so
Mhm.
you put these unrealistic expectations on your head, and when you do foul up, or if you do something that they feel is outside of what God's will is for you, then you're just a terrible person. And so I
Right.
think a lot of these constraints that we put on sex and relationships have, especially in the Black community, have been because of our faith and what our parents told us and all that stuff. And then it's so crazy because your parents tell you all this stuff. You don't need to be doing it. You don't need to be doing that. And
Right.
then somebody died, and you found out they got like 5 kids
Right.
that ain't nobody knew about. You
Right.
getting the letters in the mail.
Exactly. You like what? And I found out you was a hoe when you was younger. So what you
Exactly. You
shoot.
got pregnant at 17.
Right. You
What
telling
you
me
mean?
not to do all these things, you was a hoe.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So yeah, there are, and someone, LC said, if you are grown, it should not really be a time frame. And I agree. You said that too. Like, we're grown. Like, and I think there's this, I think men think women, especially when they're older, they think, oh, like, if we have sex, things are going to change. They don't have to change. They don't have to change. I think when you do have sex with someone, you're bonded to that person. You shared your energy. So yes, things are going to change in some way, but they don't have to dramatically change like that. We're grown, and you know, hey, we did it, and whatever. It's not that serious. Especially I think as you get older. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I had a conversation with someone who said he backs off on daily texts and calls because he thinks he's calling and texting too much. Um, and I believe there's too much overthinking, with communication. If that person is on your mind, then reach out to them. Why are we overthinking this? This is like, there should not be a tit for tat in communication. If you're thinking about that person, reach out. Like, it's not I said good morning on Monday, so you say good morning on Tuesday, and then you gotta call me that evening, and I'll call you the next day. Like, it's just too much.
Yeah. There's this girl that I met um, when I was in my 20s, and I met her through a mutual friend. They were in law school together,
Mm-hmm.
and I was living in Atlanta at the time, but I was visiting Texas at the time. And I met this girl, and I was smitten from day one. I was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
she's bad, she's cool. I want to get to know her, you know. Um, and man, I called this girl. I tried to get to know her. She gave me her number. I'm thinking she feeling me. We kind of had a nice little vibe when we were in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I thought everything was cool.
Yeah.
And one day she hit me with the man, you just too nice.
Oh.
And that did something to me.
Mm.
I can't lie.
These women
When
out
she
here
said that to
scorning
me, I
men.
said, I'm too nice. Okay, well,
So you
then,
took that and then just.
yeah, and then you just kind of like go through. I went through like a 6 year savage phase after that. I
uh,
was like, all right, cool. Now I'm
other
in the other
other
part.
women are suffering because of that woman's sins.
Isn't that terrible?
Oh, that's
But it's
awful.
amazing how small, insignificant conversations that really don't even matter. That
Yeah.
if you're not having conversations, because I'm thinking, nobody else went through this like I did. And then
Yeah.
when I talk about this, I hear other guys say, "Oh yeah, my girl told me that."
Right.
So what you do? Oh, I reacted like this. But it was really they just weren't the person for you. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything magical or crazy. They just weren't your person.
Exactly. And
But you're young and you don't get it.
yeah,
so
right.
so
Exactly.
you gonna hurt me? Bet. Ain't nobody gonna hurt me again. I'm not gonna allow
See,
it to happen. So I'm gonna be out here in the
all
streets.
these scorned people out here. So
I'm Gucci
this
now. I went to therapy.
it
Therapy
was
works.
good, good. We suffer because of this woman's sins,
You know
from
what I mean?
20 some years ago. So,
She
but
needs to write an apology to them girls for those 6 years. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's all her fault.
but it's true. I think people, instead of treating each situation different, we bring the baggage from the last situation into
Oh
the
yeah.
current situation. And I've had people say, "Oh, well, these women reacted in the past to this and that, so this is why I'm handling you this way." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not her. So
Exactly.
miss me with it,
Yep.
and treat me accordingly." So I think, yeah, I try to treat each person as they are, and not try to carry the last man's issues into a current situation. So
I got a
okay.
question for you.
Ron, no,
I
don't
got a
be all
question
up in,
for you.
you
Come on.
know, you can't be all up in my business, Ron. No. No, I'm kidding. Okay, go ahead.
One question for you.
No, you're good.
How do you feel about this whole new trend of people trying to get their lick back?
What do you mean? Like, I don't even know what that,
All
like,
right.
what does that
So
even look
I
like?
hurt your feelings,
Uh-huh.
right? And I knowingly hurt you, right?
Uh-huh.
You're upset about it. You take me back. You say we good.
Mm.
But what you really want to do
Um,
is get your lick back.
yeah, no, I don't have time for that.
Hmm.
That's childish. That's
It
childish
is. It
behavior.
is a very real thing,
That
man.
takes too much energy. First of all, for me to do that, you blocking my blessing from the next person. I don't have time for that. So yeah, that's childish. Who? What? We're wrong. Why are we doing this?
Your boy circled the block last year. It was a terrible decision.
You did it.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But I think she was hurt from the first time, and I think she wanted to get her lick back.
Oh, so she got her look back on you.
Oh, for sure. She caught me with an
Oh.
overhand right. It was fine.
Oh.
She
So
she caught me
sorry.
slipping.
Damn.
Never again.
Yeah,
Never
you
again.
said it won't happen again. See, well, ladies, watch out. um. Okay. So and we're talking about that is a part of our value system. People want to get their look back. So it seems like values have gone out the window and people are treating others as disposable objects because they have so many options. And you talked about Hinge earlier, like how you can just on to the next. No one wants to have a conversation about feelings. If there's a problem, they just check out. And like people are lacking conflict resolution skills. What like what are your thoughts on that? Like conflict resolution, like people don't talk
um,
anymore. It's like,
yeah.
oh, I have a problem, I don't want to talk about it. And then next thing you know, you that person is gone. It's like, okay, I thought we were going to come back to this at some point, but then they're like gone.
No. Um, Oddly enough, probably to my kids this May, I'm a huge communications person.
Mhm.
I want to talk about everything. So um, I believe communication is important, but more than just communication, quality communication and
Mhm.
trusted communication. Like we can't sit here and just lie to one another to
Mhm.
protect another person's feelings. You have to be able to truly say how you feel and where you are in this process.
Right.
And I think for us, a lot of times we just kind of we give people what we think they need. No, not what we think they need. We give them what we want them to have, and then when it all blows up, we then truly tell them how we really feel.
Mm.
Um, I see it all the time in a number of people. I have a friend that's going through a divorce right now, and she was telling me how her husband, after that, they had a real good conversation. He's like, "Oh my God, why didn't we have these discussions before?" You
Right.
know, um, and you just kind of see those type of things happen on a regular basis. And it's unfortunate because everybody wants to be has this yearning to want to be right
Mm.
instead of really just overall winning.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
goal here is to win.
Right.
We're in this thing together. This is life. This shit ain't easy. It's hard being
Exactly.
a black man. It's hard being a black woman, man. It's
Mhm.
hard life in general. American. It's
Yeah.
just whatever your situation is, it's just hard as hell.
Right.
And when you find somebody that's really, really willing to ride with you, and really open to having real conversations with you, those relationships flourish. And I
Yeah.
think, to be totally honest with you, I really do believe that is why you see men have such great bonds because man, we talk about each other like dogs half of the time. It's like
Yeah.
it's always this, hey, big head ass or whatever they want to
Right,
say
right,
about
right.
you, whatever. It's always
Mhm.
something, right? But we
Yeah.
always don't mess with each other. You know where you stand. If
Mhm.
somebody makes you mad, you tell them right then and there. It's never this guessing game. But for whatever
Right.
reason, we don't like to do that with our women, um, and
Right.
that I can't explain. But
Well, it's like, well, I think it comes down to, from conversations I've had with men, fear of rejection. And it's like, I don't want to hear this woman say, tell me what I'm not doing. Because if you, like, I had a conversation with a guy, and he was like, women don't want honesty. And I was like, what? Yes, we do. He was like, you all don't want to hear the truth. And I was like, actually, we do. And he was like, okay. So he gave an example of, okay, if you went into the closet and came out with an outfit and I didn't like it and I told you that I didn't like it, then you would have something to say. It would be a snapback, clapback, or whatever. But if I went into the closet and you had something to say about my outfit, I would just go change.
No problem.
And I was
Yeah.
like, well, you do have a good point. However, I would still want to know the truth. I don't know, and everybody's not the same. Everybody does not receive, critical, constructive criticism, or feedback about things. But I'm just very honest because I want people to be honest with me. So I'm going to share my grievances, and I want the same, because otherwise it's going to come out later in some big blow up. And it's like,
And it don't have to be all
and
that.
it doesn't have to be all of that if we just communicate all along, you
Just
know.
say how you feel, man. It's
Just
all good.
say how you feel. But what I feel like, going back to my question earlier about what's one of the biggest problems with dating, one of them, not the problem, but it's people aren't honest, and so it's like if you looking for a booty call, just say that. And so I've had guys say to me, well, if I told you I was looking for a booty call, you would have something. I would have something to say. If that's not what I'm looking for, I'm going to tell you that's not what I'm looking for. But you don't want to hear me say no. So
Mm-hmm.
it goes back again to that rejection piece. And then even like when it goes back to like the calling too much or texting too much, you don't want me to say to you, stop calling. Why you texting me so much? Why you call? Because there's the reject. Nobody wants to be rejected.
Took
I
me on a
get that.
6 year downward spiral.
Right. I get that. Nobody wants to be rejected. But at the same time, if just be honest, it would save. I feel like honesty would save like a lot of heartaches and a lot of issues that we have in the dating process, and then something along what you were saying earlier, when it's your person, when you really like that person, a lot of this is not even a conversation because there's fluid communication. They're sharing of feelings and all of that. The intimacy is there. Like it's just none of this. There's no confusion, So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's the values conversation. So okay, what are your thoughts on ghosting? Do you be ghosting people, Ron? You seem like you're a ghoster.
I ghosted one person.
Just one.
I ghosted two people.
Mm-hmm.
I ghosted two people.
Okay.
Um, they were extreme situations, and to save all parties involved, I thought it was best for me to just kill all communication. Um, one, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you both of them actually.
Mm-hmm.
One was somebody that I talked about this on my podcast, but one was somebody that I was dating, and we were just having a general conversation. She was on my Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and she saw that we had a mutual friend, and so she was asking me, how I knew this person. I was like, oh, he was my suite mate in college, all these, wonderful things, and
Mm-hmm.
I proceeded to ask her, how does she know him?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, I didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, oh, okay, must have been somebody she dated or somebody she hung out with.
Yeah.
Didn't think anything of it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so a couple weeks go by. I'm going to go see my friend in another state or city, excuse me. And I tell her that I'm going to go see him. I'm going to bring her up. She's like, please don't do that. Now I'm like,
Right. Well, that's gonna make you want to do it.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, because he's my dad.
What? Wait a minute, Ron. First of all, how
Hold
old
on,
was
hold on.
this chick?
So I said, no, he's not, because
What?
I know all four of his kids, and you not one of them. He's married, family,
What?
yeah. And so she told me he had him when I think he was 13. They don't have a relationship, but she knows who he is. He knows who she is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is where I instilled the number when I ask people how old they are. You got to meet this threshold from here on out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, that's wild. Okay, so you ghosted her. You.
I cut off all communication.
Okay.
I felt disgusted. I felt nasty as hell. The second one was
Wow.
I went on a date to a really cool just lunch date, and we were having margaritas. And this is a place that you can't have more than two, really.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we had two. She continues to tell me that she has to go to the restroom, so she
Uh-huh.
leaves, goes to the restroom, and the manager comes up to me and says, "Hey, is that your wife?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Is that lady that's sitting here? Is that your wife?" I was like, "No, I just met her." I was like, "Wow, what's going on?" She was like, "She peed on the floor,"
Oh hell
and I
no.
and I looked down, and there's pee from the chair
Oh
all the
hell
way to the bathroom,
no, Ron. Good
and the
night.
guy is out there cleaning it, right? And I'm like, "Oh wow!" And this girl was in the bathroom for like a minute, and so I'm sitting here like, you know, what do I do? How do I react to all
Oh
this?
my god.
And she comes back. She had on a romper,
Mhm.
like, So she comes back and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry it took so long. I one of my buttons wasn't snap, and I had to get somebody to help me." And da da da. And I was like,
Oh no.
"Oh no, it's cool." I said, "But I already closed out, man. We can go ahead and leave." And she probably don't even know that I know that was her.
Wow.
She gonna
Oh
see this,
my.
and she gonna know that I know. I never said anything either. I just stopped talking to her.
No, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
I know.
Okay, so those are two good
My two
examples.
most.
Those are good. Okay, so you don't just okay. So if you don't like someone, like if you no longer are feeling someone, do you have a conversation with them like this is just not working for me, or do you stop the communication? Because technically, isn't that ghosting?
Yeah. Um, I tend to start to use words like, "Hey, friend,
Oh, see,
what's up, buddy?" A
Ron, you're a
little
savage.
little pat on the back when I hug you. It's not that warm embrace anymore. I'm trying to transition you. Hey, are you dating anybody? Seeing anybody? You are
Not when
okay.
y'all were dating already. What?
No, not like like go find your person. Like I'm not.
It's cold, cold world out here.
That's not cold. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I mean, if
Yeah,
I like you as a person, I still want to keep you in my life. I just don't
right.
necessarily like you like that.
Got it. Okay, like you like that anymore. Okay, y'all better be taking notes out here. Uh, Elsie said, "Wow, something may have been medically wrong with her." I
Now you're
mean,
gonna make me feel bad.
right? She gonna
That's
make you
messed
feel
up.
bad, right? She's like, "You wrong for that."
Man, come on, don't do me like that.
You didn't put the PP girl out here. That's wrong.
Don't nobody know who she is.
We don't
It's
know.
between me, her, and the manager.
We
That's
right.
it.
We don't know. We don't know. Okay. Elsie said sometimes it's best to just end communication with some people. I believe that people know why you have ghosted them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, see, that means you did it more than twice, then, right?
No, I'm just saying those two times they knew exactly why. It wasn't
uh.
a surprise.
All right. And then let's see, Chantel. Hey, Chantel said we are too sensitive and overprotective of our hearts after letdowns. Yeah, that's why so many scorned people out here.
Yeah.
We have to pick ourselves up and move on. But I think that some people get into a situation too soon after that heartbreak, and that's why they be out here, unhealed and just
Yeah.
out here reckless. It's like heal yourself first before you get back out here in these streets. Do you think, since speaking of out in these streets, do you think that the pandemic made dating worse?
Did it make it worse?
Yes.
I think that during the pandemic, um, you were required to love on somebody that either you loved or hated. Like,
Right.
no matter what, you were
Yeah.
so closely tight with that person for that extended period of time that when people tasted freedom, they just
Mhm.
wanted something different.
Yes.
I think that's why divorces went up during that
Mhm.
period. I think, the things that we normally run from when you're in a marriage, like I traveled a lot for work, so I was able to travel to mask some of the issues that I was having in my marriage. But now
Mm.
that COVID is here, I have to deal with these things head on.
Yeah.
I can't retreat. I can't go out and have drinks with my boys. I can't, do the things that I want to go do. So
Mhm.
I have to deal with my shit. And I think
Right.
that was step number one. You know, the other part though that really I think created all of these issues in relationships during COVID is just like um, we have learned that life is short and that we have this that we are very fragile
Mhm.
as a world,
Yep.
that at any moment things can change. And so as a result, people are traveling more, they're getting out more, they're killing their bucket list, they're
Mhm.
starting businesses. So you have all of these different um, priorities or activities that are infringing on what you would normally spend time on
Right.
with relationships. I have seen during the pandemic and somewhat after, I have seen Black women really rally and come together in
Mhm.
this, whole Black girl magic thing, and this,
Yeah.
supporting of each other, and this
Mhm.
lifting up, and this. I see all these great things. I wish men we did more of it. We don't, but I see that a lot of that support, and I think that those
Yeah.
things have also created some interesting um, opportunities. And then I
Mhm.
think people are just open now.
Yeah.
Like they don't care if you're a man, woman,
I mean, dog,
they,
cat,
them. Like
right?
it's whatever, man. Like,
Yeah.
and so hey, kudos to them too.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit of everything right now.
I absolutely agree with you on all those points. I feel like ultimately the root of it is everybody wants freedom. But I feel like why does a relationship have to be seen as something like imprisonment, or restrictive? If you
Yeah,
with a person that you like and eventually love, why does it have to be seen as something that's so restricted?
right.
And so I think, yeah, I think a lot of people's views have changed, coming out of the pandemic. But ultimately, I think the root of that is wanting freedom. And so
Totally.
people are just like, listen, YOLO, I've never heard so many terms about dating in my life.
Right.
I'm like, what is that? ENM, poly this, cis
Right.
this, that. It's just, I can't keep up. And
Hmm.
I'm like, so are we not supposed to believe that two people can be together anymore? Like, be mutually exclusive? Like, it
Absolutely.
seems like that is becoming, something that's not the norm. It's like, oh, well, you
So
got to be okay with your man having, somebody else on the side. What? I'm
so
sorry.
in December, I met a young lady that I've been dating since December now,
Hmm.
and
So I missed the boat when I didn't speak to you at
you,
the
you missed the
game.
boat, man. Somebody picked up that train, man. But and I'm almost, I was hesitant to even bring it up because I'm like I'm so nervous about it,
Hmm.
still. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
explain what I
Hmm.
mean by all
Hmm.
that. I met this girl, woman. I should say she makes fun of me all the time. So
Yeah.
just anyway, I met this woman, and I really purposed in my mind, toward the end of the year, that I wanted to have a real relationship. I wanted
Yeah.
to um, be with somebody who was 110% available,
Hmm.
um, and who was open to being loved the way that I wanted to love it, right?
Hmm.
Um, I had gone into some dark spaces,
Hmm.
prior to that. And part of that was me dating somebody that wasn't available,
Hmm.
if you understand what I'm saying.
Yep. Hmm.
And falling for a person that's not available is even more toxic.
Yeah.
Um, and so I woke up one day and I was just like, man, this is not what I want for myself.
Hmm.
And so I thought sat down with myself and really just said, man, this is really what I want. And I tell her all the time, I was like, man, I manifested you because I knew
Mm.
exactly what I wanted, and I knew where I wanted to be, and I knew the type of person that I wanted to meet.
Mm.
And she has consistently wowed me throughout this time.
Yeah.
She sent me a text today. She was like, "I'm such a lucky girl," and I think about it on a different phase because I think I'm kind of the lucky one because
Yeah.
she really she came from a bad situation as well,
Mhm.
and it's cool because we get an opportunity to um, provide a sense of peace
Yeah.
for one another, and
Mhm.
it's not really hard. It's not difficult. It
You're not
doesn't
in
feel
prison.
yeah, yeah,
It's
and so
easy.
it's just easy, man.
Yeah.
And so I think about that often, and I'm always kind of like it's interesting to me when I made it my purpose to really do the things that I needed to do on my end to make this woman feel safe.
Mhm.
She provided all of the other things that I didn't
Right.
know a woman would ever be able to truly provide me
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
relationship situation.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So it's a real, it's interesting because I
Mhm.
never thought that I would ever be, we're both on the same page. I don't want no more kids and I don't ever want to be married.
Mm.
Those are just like two things for me that I
Mhm.
come out the gate and just tell people. So if you
Right.
know me, that's just who I
Mhm.
am. And so to meet someone that kind of is on that same path as me and kind of learning
Yeah.
and growing with each other, it's just really, really dope.
Yeah.
So as people are watching this, as you're looking at this, I don't care where you are in life,
There's
like,
hope, folks. There's hope.
yeah, and just kind of really, and when I said I'm nervous about saying it because I'm just like, I tell her this all the time. I don't want another failed relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I don't want another
Mhm.
failed situation. I
Yeah.
tried and it didn't work out. Now I'm back out here in these
Right.
streets trying to figure it out again.
Cause
It's
it's
just
exhausting,
yeah.
okay? It's exhausting. And someone asked me, "Are you is Joy single?" Joy is leaning on God's understanding. That's what Joy is doing. Okay. We leaning on God's understanding.
Make it
Um,
clear for 'em. Make it
listen,
clear.
that's it. Okay, so what do you think when people say men have more options than women?
I think that's bullshit.
You think so? Why?
Hell yeah. Man, all right. So over the weekend, we celebrated
Statistically
my.
speaking, it's true, but okay, we're gonna see what you
Hold
gotta
on, hear
say.
me out now.
Mm-hmm.
Over the
Yeah.
weekend,
Mm-hmm.
we celebrated my son's 21st birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we took him to a club that I wanted to go to,
No.
not necessarily one that he wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is that because one, I don't want to deal with no young people. I just wanted to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
While we're in there, I remind my son and his boys, hey, Jalen Green, that his name? Jerry Green? Jalen Green has taught us the way.
Mm-hmm.
Him and the Drea girl, they doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful situation.
Uh-huh.
You see all these young guys now going and getting these very well seasoned women,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like it's working for them. I have another friend that'll go. I'll leave her anonymous, but she got a little baby too.
She got a
So
little boo thing.
got a little baby. You know
Got a
what I
little
mean?
boo
So
thing. I don't know.
so
Might be something to it.
look, I'm not
Men
saying
date younger women, so why can't women date younger men?
Joy. You tell me right now, you could walk out in the community right now, and them young dudes gonna holler.
Yes,
They gonna
they
shoot their shot.
will. Yeah. I
So
mean, if you
I'm
got, I'm saying, what's wrong with that?
I'm not saying anything wrong with it. What I'm
Okay.
saying is bullshit that men got more options because we gotta work for it. We gotta take you to Philippe. We gotta take you to Uchi. We gotta take you to Neiman. We gotta do all of these other things. All you gotta do is walk outside. Now, granted, you might have to give them a ride every
Uh,
now and again, but you know, you was giving that that 50-year-old rapper nigga the ride. So
no, no, no.
it's all good. So I mean, come on, we
I
got it.
can.
It's good.
Listen, I don't feel like it is equal opportunity out here, but okay, I will, you have
It's
your
because of y'all
perspective.
standards, man. Y'all have these.
Well, we have to have standards. Do you see what's going on out here?
Okay, let me tell you this. This is so. Ask a man, what is he looking for in a woman? What is he gonna say? Just from what you've heard in your life,
I
what
mean,
have you
it
heard?
usually starts with physical.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
she got, a nice body, she can
Mm.
cook, she can
Yeah.
clean, whatever.
That's
She
right.
might be ambitious, whatever.
Yeah. Ooh.
Very basic. But then when you get with a dude, then it becomes something else, though.
What does it become?
All these other things, I don't know.
Tell me more. Give me one.
Um, well, some people are looking for mamas.
Okay.
You
Nurturing.
know,
Okay.
no, 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 no. There's a difference between nurturing and you wanting me to replace your mama.
I got you.
Okay, there's
Okay.
a
All right.
difference. Like, I can be complimentary to your mama, but I don't want to
Hmm.
be your mama.
I
So
got you.
there's a difference. So nurturing, because I just had this conversation with someone the other day. I was like, no, let's be clear. Nurturing is it's not the same. Like, but I have attracted men in the past who want a mama. They want me to be and I'm like, I'm not trying to be your mama. I'm not trying to replace your mama. I don't want to be your mama.
Mm.
So there is
You giving
there
off mama vibes?
do what?
You giving off mama vibes?
I probably do. I'm old. I'm an old soul, so I probably do, Ron. I get, old lady vibes, but I'm also very nurturing, and I think I attract certain people because of that nurturing spirit. But I don't want to be nobody's mama, except my own children that I will have one day. So no. But okay, so back to now. I don't even remember what we were talking about because you got me off topic. I was talking about options. So you were talking about standards because I feel like we have what's wrong with standards? We should have
There's nothing
standards.
wrong with it. But realistic standards are okay.
What's
And
unrealistic
for
standards?
men, man, we don't. I mean, I'm not. I have this worthy hat on because I always tell men know your worth, right?
Okay.
Know your worth, King. So, but we're not really going out here and just being like, oh, I gotta. I mean, I could date the waitress, or I
Mhm.
could date, the physician. Like it doesn't. Neither
I
one of them
don't
really
know if
bother me.
that's true. Is that going to be fulfilling for you if you are someone who says you want someone ambitious or whatever? Like,
Yeah,
I,
but
I, I feel like a lot of things start off that way and then it turns into something else.
I
So,
have dated, you know, across the board, different types
mhm,
of people, different careers, um, and um, I am not necessarily looking for somebody to be as ambitious as I am,
mhm,
because if that is the case, we would rarely see each other. We would
mhm,
not be able to spend the time. I mean, I would love to be with somebody who wants to come on, my work trips with me, or is
mhm,
able to, do some of those type of things. Like
yeah,
those type of things are really fun to me. So
mhm.
I don't necessarily require you to have all of these accolades and be
Why do
able
you
to.
think women have so many standards?
I was gonna be a smart ass, but I'm gonna hold that one. Um, I think that it is I think it's a direct reflection of past hurts
Mhm,
that you create these barriers, um, and that with those past hurts, they stack up against each other. And
mhm.
so and so will never hurt me like this. So I don't need to date a man like this. I need a man that is in this category. Um, and that's my personal opinion for you
I'm just
smirking
trying
at
to.
me.
I'm like
Not the
go a little
side eye.
deep. I'm like go a little deeper into that because I'm like, what
Sure.
does
All right.
that
I'll give you a
mean?
for instance.
Yeah.
Um, um, I have a friend that is beautiful and has traditionally um, dated athletes.
Mhm.
And I told her that she has to be on some kind of website for football players
Mhm.
because it seems as if those are the people that are in her DMs and she's meeting out in public. Like
Mhm.
it's the weirdest thing in the world.
Yeah.
She told me a couple weeks ago that she will never date another athlete,
Mm.
and I told her, and I said, I hear you, and I understand the hurt that these individuals, but man, you just never know where your blessing is or who is going to be your person.
Mhm.
Why not look at what the qualities that the person brings to the table as opposed to just giving a general statement of I'm never going to date this.
Yeah.
Um, it's those are just some of the things that I see. Also see like height requirements, weight requirements, color requirements, hair requirements.
Y'all
These
do the
all these
same
weird
thing.
ass shit. I'd be like, no, we don't. Let me tell you something. You
Men are
have
so
beautiful hair,
shallow.
huh?
Men are so shallow.
You think so?
What? You
Yeah, we
lead with the
shallow.
physical. Like, what? I'm
we
like, you better stop playing with me. I'm gonna click this thing off.
but I am a sucker for a pretty face. So if you are beautiful to me, and everybody's beauty is different, right?
Yeah,
So if you're
absolutely.
beautiful for me, then I like you, and
Mm.
I don't have a type. I've dated all kind of different people, um, and so that's just how I look at it. Like for me, my
Mm.
boys are the same way, man. When I look at the people they date, they've been all across the board. So
Have your standards changed? Have you gotten older, like physical standards?
um, I know. How do I say this the right way? My dad over here. I know the toys that I like to play with, so
Okay, fair enough.
fair enough.
Okay, so let's see. Elsie said, but are women being picky because they know what they want and won't tolerate? Then,
See that tolerate thing is such a I do not like that shit at
yeah.
all.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you start to put up like tolerate, like you're almost like sunning a man at that point. Like
Mm.
this is my mom used to say that to me all the time. I'm not tolerating this. I'm not tolerating that.
Mm.
Like when you start to say things like that, it is a it provides a negative energy to any type of situation that you're
Mm-hmm.
in, and I won't tolerate it. No, I'm just playing. So we have to be careful with the words that we use in our situations because once you start to demean a man, um, you won't like the outcome because
Yeah.
there's nowhere else for y'all to go at that point.
Well, I think that's both ways too, and it goes both ways. It comes down to a respect thing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, okay, and we're gonna wrap this up because I know baby girl want to go eat dinner because she was over
Oh,
there
for sure.
trying to get the snacky snacks earlier. Okay. Um, okay. So let's see. M. Heiner said, I believe men have more options because most women come ready for a relationship, where some men look for the best option among so many options.
The same thing y'all do. Cut it out.
Well,
Cut it out.
I think
Women got
everybody looks.
rosters
I
too.
think
Women
everybody
got
looks.
rosters
I
too.
think everybody looks for the best option. But I think what this person is saying is that I think there's a perception that men have more options. I've had men tell me that, like even on the dating apps. Like I've had men tell me, "Oh yeah, I mean, if you don't talk to me, somebody. I mean, you said it. Like another one is in the queue. Like they're not as qualified. Listen, when I was on Hinge and Bumble, I was like, what in the entire hell?
Same.
Half of those men, I would never. I was like, is this who's out here? See, this is why I don't go outside. I was just like, nah, this can't be it. This can't be it. This can't be
I was
it. And
I was
granted, I said I was gonna do the paid version, but I got so impatient with the unpaid version. So maybe if I filtered things a little bit more, maybe I would have gotten better outcomes. But I don't know. I was like, you know what? I'm just, it's
I'm
just,
not feeling it.
I mean, like I said, I've met some good guys on dating apps, but like I said, I'm leaning to God's understanding.
They were too nice. I got
No, I like nice guys. I really do. Okay, so last question. You mentioned your three babies. How do you prepare your daughters and son for the dating world?
How do I prepare them? I am a very honest dad, and my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, is a part of the alphabet community.
Hmm.
LGBTY. I don't know all the acronyms, but whatever that is, she's a part of that community.
LGBTQIA plus. Hmm.
Yeah, plus 12.
Uh,
Whatever.
I
And
can't.
so you know, it's interesting
Mhm.
because we don't have the same type. Um, and it's kind of like when my son was in high school, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, son, good job. She's pretty."
Mhm.
My daughter has a very delicate taste,
Okay, we can read it between the
and
lines.
I'd be like, mm, she has very strong features, Pumpkin.
Yeah.
She's like super sweet. Uh, so that's a work in progress. I want her to date better,
We gonna put
but
Ron in timeout.
that's just me being a dad.
Yeah.
And the youngest one, I'm her boyfriend, so
Yeah.
that's that's where I'm at right now. I want my son to make good decisions in life.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want him to be like in these streets tough. I want him to
Okay.
meet somebody dope
Mhm.
and grow. You know, and just take things light.
Mhm.
I think I want that for all my kids.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard, man, because I'm single, doing my thing, but and I have all these people that I meet that I get excited about, and then just kind of falls to the wayside. So it's like,
I
damn,
know, and that's the worst part because then you got to do it all over again, and
do
it's
it all
like
over.
really rinse and repeat. Like it just gets exhausting, because it's like I'm too old for this. Like, I'm a relationship person. I don't want to be out here in these streets because the streets is real ghetto.
It's not for everybody.
Um, it's not for me. It's not for me either. Okay. All right, rapid fires. I'm gonna let you go because you got dinner time. Okay, because I don't want baby girl coming for me. All right, she gonna find me
And
on
she will.
she gonna find me on Instagram. And be like, dinner was supposed to be at 7 o'clock. No, I don't want problems. Okay. All right, rapid fire. So the first, I'll give you two options. You choose the one that resonates best with you. Okay.
All right.
All right, basketball or football,
Football,
foot massage or neck massage.
foot.
Okay, you better have some nice feet if you asking for a foot massage.
I got a
Uh,
pedicure over the weekend. That was lit.
okay,
That's
yeah,
that was.
okay. Well, I know what the answer is gonna be to this, but movie night or steakhouse.
Is this the first date?
All right.
Oh man, yeah. Nah, we go to the steakhouse. I don't really
Okay.
like. I don't like the movies.
All right. Okay. Let's talk it out, or I need space.
Talk it out.
Okay. King size bed or queen size bed.
Queen.
Okay.
That's my book.
Dancing at home or going to the club.
Oh, dancing at home. We gonna turn up.
Okay. Beer or whiskey.
Both.
Uh, you're supposed to pick one.
I like whiskey.
Okay. Kissing in public or holding hands.
Oh, you know me. I'm a Scorpio.
Oh,
I'm gonna run you down in the middle of everywhere. Why it's raining everywhere. I don't care.
oh God. Cook for her or she cooks for you.
I love to cook.
Okay. And then daddy's girls or mama's boy. Well, there you have
There you
it.
have it.
Daddy's girls, you heard her say it. Okay. All right. So what's next for you? And you guys can find Ron at. Tell me your Instagram again, Ron.
Work hard, PH.
Work Hard
Work
PH. So you can find Ron at Work Hard PH on Instagram.
hard.
And what's next for you? I know you got a exciting podcast episode coming up, which is very, very good topic, actually.
Yeah,
We don't
in
have
a
time to
couple
dive
weeks,
into that today.
I am interviewing two of Houston's most eligible bachelors, who I'm hoping will be very open and honest about how they've navigated the dating scene here in Houston, um, and that they've developed a reputation of being somewhat toxic. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll be interviewing two eligible females, women, excuse me, let me not say
Mm-hmm.
females, I got in trouble for saying
Women.
women
Mm-hmm.
here in the Houston area, that we will ask the same question. They've had some of the same toxic dating
Just
situations, and
toxic.
then we'll do a panel bringing all four of them together
Mm-hmm.
and having real conversation about toxicity and how we can get over our past to have more successful exchanges amongst each other.
Ooh, that's going to be a very heated discussion.
That'd be good.
Okay, so follow at Work Hard PH so that you guys can find this podcast episode because it won't be live. It'll air. When is it going
Yeah,
to air?
in 2 weeks.
Okay, it'll air in 2 weeks. Um, I'm not toxic, Elsie. She said, "Joy, you better link up with him on that one." I'm not toxic. I don't need to link up with Ron on that topic.
Nah,
Um,
Joy and I, we gonna be besties now, man. I like you, man.
yes.
This is my first time really talking to you, so I was
Yeah,
telling one of my
well,
friends.
yeah, I know. I don't. I told you I don't people, Ron. So a lot of people that haven't talked to me. So, but this was good. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on to the podcast. This was such a good topic, and I appreciate you being open. Elsie brought up a point. Um, she said you patted your son on the back for picking a pretty face, but what was her personality like?
You don't need personality when you're a teenager.
Yes,
It's all
you
about
do.
looks. It's all about looks.
See,
You,
and
you
then
can do
when
personality.
at what
You
point do
ain't,
you
they ain't gonna see
learn?
these people.
Yeah,
They
but
won't
at
know
what
who this person is 10 years
see, but
from
at
now.
what point do you
Name 3 people we
learn?
still know from high school.
But at what point do you learn that personality is important, or what point do you teach that personality should be important if it's just about the physical?
I'm gonna tell you this.
And we gonna close that.
You better get and stay with the person that you are attracted to. One.
Mm-hmm.
If physical is something that matters to you, then make sure that that is a priority. In addition to your 1A's, and
Mm-hmm.
that's personality, charisma, ambition, financial, whatever your 1A is. But if being attracted to your partner means something to you, you better do that. Because if
Yeah.
you just go for personality, you're gonna find yourself looking and finding someone else that's meeting your attraction.
Well, don't people do that anyway? You can have it all and still be seeking something else.
I don't think people do that because they have it all.
Hmm. Well, that's a good point. I mean, so let me not give you a side eye. That's actually something is missing. But I also feel like people are not communicating what's missing.
Right.
So if you're communicating what's missing, then maybe that person can fill that gap. But I don't think those conversations are happening because people and see, I'm trying not to prolong this conversation,
No,
but
come
like
on.
people were mad like when Nia Long got cheated on, for example. Your chocolate drip boo, okay?
Mm.
Um, but people were like, how could you cheat on Nia Long? Well, something, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but obviously something was missing. We don't know what that was. So, because it's like, how could you? How could you cheat on Nia Long? How could you cheat on Beyonce or whoever these celebrities are? We don't know what's going on in their home.
There's an old saying that my dad used to say. May he rest in peace. Said, show me a bad female or woman, and I'll show you somebody who's tired of having sex with her.
Ooh.
So a lot of people get so
Ooh.
caught up in the way a person looks and think I would never cheat on that person, but I mean she's just like the girl up the street that you used to
Yeah.
date.
It's not all about looks.
It's not all about it. That's why you need
Hmm.
those 1A's. One
That's
A's
why
matter.
what?
That's why you need the 1A's. The 1A's matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And just to clarify, Elsie was like, "Oh, I thought it was for the most eligible bachelors." Yeah, he said eligible bachelors, but he also said they talking about toxic traits. So, that's not for me, Elsie.
Tune
But you,
in. Might be somebody you dated, Elsie.
oh, Listen, this has been so good. Thank you for coming on, Ron, my
It was
new
a blast. Thank
BFF.
you.
My new BFF, and
For sure.
we're gonna have some more conversations. So, yes, take baby girl to dinner, please, because
I
I don't
will.
want no smoke. And thank you guys for tuning in. Next week is the season finale, and then y'all know I take my break because this is tied. Me being back here next week, like, subscribe if you just lurking, okay, so that you can get the notification for the next episode. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks,
No
Ron.
worries. Thank you.